Hi, it's Noel from the Meat Mafia Collective here. So today we're going to be using the Charmate Cob Jnr to reverse sear a standing rib roast. And what I want to talk you through is getting the setup of coal right for this. So we're going to try and run the pit at about 275 to 300 today for the reverse sear. So the first thing what we're going to do is we're actually going to light some Heatbeads briquettes. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to measure out an exact amount. So I usually go with 16 to 18 to start with. So if it's the summer and the ambient temperature outside is warmer, I start with 16. If it's winter, start it with 18 or 19 just to give it a bit more of a heat punch because the ambient temperature outside is a lot lower. So we're going to measure out 16 of these. We're just going to pile them up in the middle because we haven't got a full chimney. We want that to burn evenly. So I've just sort of piled them up in the middle of the chimney there. We're using a camp stove today just to light these. Cool, so while we're waiting for our coal to ignite, we're going to set the Charmate Cob Jnr up. It's basically a minion setup. So we've got the adjustable grate here in the lowest possible position. And we're going to be using Heatbeads briquettes today. So we're going to pour these in for an indirect cooking setup. We're actually just going to set this up so that we've got room to pour the lit fuel touching one end of the unlit fuel. I can't stress the importance of lighting heat beads extremely well. They usually take about 20 to 25 minutes on a camp stove. You want those fully ashed over and red hot before you transfer them to the barbecue. That will mean that you're getting that heat straight away. So we're going to get this chimney. So we've got our 16 lit briquettes and we're just going to pour those into the edge of this minion. So you can see I'm doing that pretty carefully. And what I want to do is just use these tongs to arrange them and make sure that they're touching the unlit fuel. So if you think about a domino effect, this is actually going to burn very gradually and light the unlit fuel. And that's what will allow us to keep a much more constant temperature inside the barbecue. So with any method, snake, minion, you just got to make sure that your fuel is touching. We're just going to move these grills over now above the coals. And what that's giving me is a 100% indirect zone on the left-hand side of this barbecue, which is where my meat's going to go, and that's going to cook indirectly. We're also using today some Charmate cherry wood, so I'm just going to use 2 chunks. And what I'm going to do is put these directly above the lit fuel. Some people put them directly on the coals. You can do that. I like to put them directly above the grill because it's actually a nice slow smolder and you get a very clean blue smoke from the beginning. So you don't want huge plumes of white smoke coming out. You want a nice thin blue smoke coming through and you know you're getting clean smoke, and that's great flavour on the meat. So what we're now going to do is we're going to open the vent at the bottom right hand side of this barbecue. So we're going to have this vent fully open. We're going to shut our lid because we want to start warming that up for the protein, and we're going to have the top left vent fully open as well. So what we've got is air coming in, going over the coals, the wood smouldering, and that flavour comes all the way across the meat and it exits from the top of the barbecue. So the vent position on these barbecues is quite important to make sure you're getting the right airflow and the right smoke over the meat. So we'll come back in a moment and put the meat on.